Huge for Mike Riley.
And even with missing a pair of games, Zylstra in the top 10, ranked 8th in receiving yards. Second down, they hand it off, and Perkins gets stacked up. Short gain as he crosses midfield, but it will be third down in a punt situation for Edmonton.
Chris Jones called the exact right defense right there to stop that play. He loaded the line of scrimmage, brought his linebackers up, basically canceled every gap. Did not give Edmonton a chance to run for that first down.
So 2 punts and a fumble for the Eskimos on their first 3 possessions. Good line drive boot by O'Neill into the corner, 47 yards, and it is covered well by the Eskimos, who have not surrendered a big play return yet this year. But Kevin Glenn goes back on offense after a touchdown toss to Naaman Roosevelt to give Saskatchewan the lead here at Commonwealth. 3-1 at home, 0-3 on the road. You can see the difference, a Jekyll and Hyde kind of team so far this year, but Kevin Glenn thinks it's just a matter of changing the mindset.
We have to treat away games as if they were home. We got to somehow, figure out a way to make that happen, for us to play on the road how we play at home. So we took it upon ourselves to just say, just treat all these away games as if we were playing at home. The only thing different is we don't have, the green fans in the stands.
Although they'll have a few here tonight.
They always have a few.
They always have a few, but there's more than a few here when it's Edmonton. A crowd of over 40,000 tonight. I'm not sure how many Rider fans are here in total, but big crowd at Commonwealth.
Different shade of green. Here's a handoff up the middle, and a big gain here. Cameron Marshall rumbles up across the 30-yard line.
Cameron Marshall, in the 2 games against BC, the Lions basically, even though they won one of them convincingly, that was the last one, the Lions and Solomon Elimimian really talked Saskatchewan out of the run game. 5 carries in the first one, 12 in the second to Cameron Marshall. Balance in the offense important for this Saskatchewan team.
23-yard run is 4th over 20 this year. Now Glenn going to take a shot for Carter, and it's broken up on the corner by Johnny Adams.
Well, you got to imagine that at some point in the season, DBs are going to have enough of watching receivers make highlight reel catches over and above them. Guys like S.J. Green that we'll see tomorrow night, and the great receivers in the league. And Carter's made some beauties, and one of the best in a long time this year back in Mosaic. But Johnny Adams said, okay, time for the corner to step up and make a play. That was a nice one.
He's starting to lock it down. 16 defensive plays in the last 2 games for Adams. At the boundary corner, 2nd and 10. Glenn for McCarthy Grant, brought down quickly. Kenny Ladler is on the scene. And speaking of active defensive players for Edmonton, has anybody been more active than 37 in recent weeks?
Well, yeah, beyond active to making the big plays. I mean, Ladler is leading this team in defensive plays, and it's all over the board. He's got the knockdowns, the interceptions, 3, which leads the Edmonton Eskimos in 3rd in the CFL. He's just making plays all over the field.
So Bartel to punt. Jamil Smith is back. 47-yard punt. Jamil Smith trying to get outside and turns the corner up over midfield and finally driven out at the Saskatchewan 48-yard line. It's a 35-yard return in Jamil Smith's Edmonton debut.
Jamil Smith, I could see the wall return setting up. You can see, like, right at the top of your screen how the Edmonton blockers are trying to get outside leverage on every one of the cover guys for Saskatchewan so that Jamil Smith could get outside and get onto that wall. He gets there with his great speed.
Town.
So good field position start for Mike Riley. Back to throw over the middle and too high for Zylstra. Guess who got a hand on it? Number 11.
Well, it's impossible to expect, you know, the game he had against the BC Lions. I mean, that's a dream game for a DB to get 4 in one game. Only Rod Hill has got more at 5 in one game in CFL history, and
you can't catch, bro.
almost had one.
And Hills came in 1990. A long time between big interception games. 2nd and 10, and that one incomplete. Bryant Mitchell went airborne, but unable to bring that one down. Quick 2 and out.
There's a former Winnipeg Blue Bomber, Rod Hill. 5 interceptions against the Hamilton Tiger Cats September 9th, 1990. 4 interceptions for Gainey against BC in Week 8. A Rider record, just shy of tying that CFL record.
Riders had only had 5 takeaways in the previous 6 games, and Gainey matched that in one evening on a block here by Willie Jefferson. And Hugh O'Neill's going to try and eat it. He can't. Jefferson, scoop, score. Touchdowns, Saskatchewan. First block of the year for the Roughriders, and it's a touchdown for a former Eskimo.
Real wide to the left of the formation, the punt formation for Edmonton. And he just unblocked.
So a team that had only 7 points off turnovers going into the Lions game now has 28 in the last 5 quarters. Flag down on the convert.
Hey, man, shout it out, man. So 409, BMT, man. Holding it down, baby. I love you, mama. I love you. Hey, Houston, be safe, man. Houston, be safe, man. Don't worry about that Harvey shit, man.
Pyramiding Edmonton. That penalty is declined. The convert is good.
Hey, we've talked a lot about Willie Jefferson and his plays on defense, just the athletic ability, the speed of Jefferson, the wingspan. He's got that, but he is one thing that not a lot of people talk about is his football acumen. The guy knows when and where to be. I mean, understands that if he's unblocked off the edge, he's going to continue on. He's got that great reach, and he gets right in front of that punt. Almost could have tackled Hugh O'Neill before he even kicked it. He was there so quickly, and then there's a little more athleticism. He just scoops it up. That's a big man just reaching down, scooping it up and scoring like that at 6'6", 240.
So 14 points off turnovers, and the Roughriders are making themselves feel at home, aren't they?
I'm doing it for y'all, man. Love y'all, man. Can't do it without the city, man. I'm the mayor, baby.
A new mayor.
A little challenge to Odell, I think.
I guess so.
So the Eskimos have to climb out of a hole here, and Edwards popped as he crossed the 35-yard line. Big hit by a former Edmonton Eskimo, a newcomer Aaron Milton on the teams.
And all of a sudden, a different sense of urgency here from Mike Riley.
Well, they got behind a couple of touchdowns in the first half in Winnipeg. Rallied, but ran out of time. See how they respond here.
Look at all 8 of those attempts. He's had a defensive lineman either hit him or in his face.
No first quarter points last week. That throw behind, dangerous. Mitchell makes the catch. Had he not, that would have been a live football.
Well, AC Leonard went a long way to put a big hit on him. Brian Mitchell. You're right. It was definitely backward. So This bounces wide. It was a tough catch to make, too, by Mitchell. But good hustle. Watch A.C. Leonard coming down, number 99. That's a big hit.
They get 5, 2nd and 5. And an open receiver, Kenny Stafford can't make the catch. A flag came down. And was Stafford contacted?
That's right in the area that it would be illegal contact that may have turned into PI.
Illegal contact, Saskatchewan number 1. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Javon Johnson called.
Well, let's take a look at this, because if Kenny Stafford down here by himself is contacted and then the ball's thrown to him, that turns into pass interference and it's point of foul. You can see the little hook there by Javon Johnson. He knows it.
So it gives the Eskimos a first down up at their 53. Here comes more pressure. Riley ducks underneath it. Dargan misses him, and Riley will throw it away. And a flag comes down in the secondary as well. Now, was that a catchable football? And I think there's an argument from the Roughriders sidelines, but a missed opportunity on the sack for Eric Dargan.
Again, Chris Jones loading up the line of scrimmage.
Illegal contact, Saskatchewan number 45. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That play's made by Mike Riley. Mike Riley, by avoiding the sack by Eric Dargan, created enough time so his receiver is illegally contacted down the field by Casey Rogers.
Well, first down, they swing it to the near side. And Perkins will get dragged down at the Edmonton bench. Good pursuit by Creston Butler, who's made a couple of first quarter plays on defense.
Offensive coordinator Carson Walsh has now changed up his game plan a little bit, it looks like to me, with a few of those wide screen passes to receivers. Saw Bryant Mitchell with one early in this drive, trying to get the ball out of Mike Riley's hands, avoid some of that pressure, get good success if he can on first down. Now, it didn't happen yardage wise on that last first down, but he's making some adjustments.
Second and long here from the Rough Rider 50-yard line. Riley going through the reads underneath for Corey Watson, and he is going to drag a tackler to first down yardage. Good hustle by Watson to at least get it close.
One of the reasons the Eskimos are 7-1, and I know they're coming off the loss to Winnipeg, is that they understand the sense of urgency necessary. They've got themselves now in scoring range, field goal range at the very least.
Going to be third down and less than a yard as we wrap up the first quarter here. What a quarter for the visitors. A Roosevelt touchdown and a block punt, scoop and score for Willie Jefferson. In the first half, they put 14 on the board in the first quarter.
And points off turnovers, a couple turnovers again, and the block punt in that category as well. And if you look at the last game in a quarter, the Saskatchewan Roughriders now have created 9 turnovers, and they've got 14 points tonight off of those 2.
They had 18 pressures on, or 4 sacks and 14 pressures against BC, and they're really turning the heat up on Mike Riley too, aren't they?
Every time he throws, Chris. Now he again understands that sense of urgency necessary, now down 14, and he's got something going on this drive. We'll see if they can finish it.
Third down play upcoming, third and less than a yard. Already 0 for 1 on the night in that department. Roughriders were -3 prior to BC game, and all of a sudden are +5, but a first down sneak there by Mike Riley as they move deeper into Rough Rider territory.
Right to Temple, calling the plays on the line of scrimmage, trying to keep the momentum of this drive alone going.
Now Zylstra on the waggle to the wide side of the field. They hand it off inside, and nothing doing there for Ladarius Perkins. Toby Antigua crashing down to make the tackle.
Boy, he's coming on. Toby Antigua tied with Willie Jefferson in the sack department for Saskatchewan, and over the last 3 games has really stepped up, played opposite, and rotated with A.C. Leonard.
2 sacks, 3 pressures against BC, and a couple of tackles. Second and 9. Riley stands in, throws, Zylstra the catch, and Zylstra breaking tackles, touchdown. Hard fought yards after the catch for a 24-yard touchdown.
Starts with protection, but let's make sure that Brandon Zylstra crosses the plane with the ball. Knee touches. They may take this back and put it on the 1-yard line. They signal touchdown for sure. I think that right knee touches.
Mike Edom just dragged him down. He tries to stretch out.
Left knee, and he didn't cross the plane. Go down on the 1-yard line. That play starts with protection. Mike Riley gets an extra steamboat back there, allows Zylstra to get over the middle.
So Tom Valesi's
After
got the
review,
boot.
the player was down short of the goal line. The ball will be placed on the 1-yard line.
That's first and goal at the 1, but still the kind of play that can really stoke this Edmonton offense.
Absolutely, and it's going to end up being a dig route right here. Little outside release, working on Cresden Butler. He opens up, coming inside that deep coverage from Mike Edom, and then fights off the tackle, but just can't quite get to the goal line. First and goal. Mike Riley in now. Riley with his 6th touchdown of the year. Flag on the play. Usually of the offside variety.
Offside. Saskatchewan. That penalty be declined. Touchdown.
And Riley has touchdowns in the last 5 games.
Off the right side of that O-line. Big Matt O'Donnell at 6'11", 350. That's probably a good choice to follow him in. Get that extra yard.
10 plays, 72 yards. And a response by the Eskimos after the first quarter domination by Saskatchewan. And this one blocked. And scooped up in the end zone. Duron Carter. How far can he bring it back?
He's coming out.
Here he comes. If he goes the distance, it's 2 the other way. And he's going to do just that. How about this? Duron Carter backing in for a pair of points for Saskatchewan. Well, you don't see that very often.
Like never. Wow.
And suddenly, that Edmonton momentum gets quelled.
First of all, when you take a look at field goals from this distance, you don't have your best athletes to cover these for the Edmonton Eskimos. But Duron Carter has so much confidence in his athletic ability. He's going to take this left and draw all the cover guys that direction, get them all turning to the left, and then take it all the way back around to the field. And he has to lose a ton of ground in the end zone to do it.
I think Steve Daniel has a new stats category, the missed convert return. 113 yards for Duron Carter. And it's been a bit of a
Illegal
nightmare
kickoff
for
out of
Hugh O'Neill.
bounds. Saskatchewan, Edmonton. Ball will be placed at the 45-yard line.
He's had a punt blocked, a convert blocked, and now an illegal kickoff that gives Saskatchewan the football at the Rough Rider 45.
Boy, such a tremendous athlete. And when he gets back and around, now he's got the angle, and he's got some big men trying to cover him and catch him and try and tackle him, and it's not going to happen. I mean, that speed and burst. 113 yards will be the official mark, but he ran about 140.
In that rare time where you score and you get the ball right back. We had a completion to Roosevelt up at the 52-yard line, give him 8.
Carter's got to try and catch his breath. He's not out there with the offense just yet. Still trying to catch his breath after that long run, get a little bit of water, get back.
Successful convert. It would have been a 7-point game. They missed the convert and give up 2, and now Edmonton trails by 10. Second and short. Handoff inside. Marshall crashing through for a first down into Edmonton territory. Running hard downhill for 9.
And right into the strength, testing out Armando Sewell's ability to hold that middle. Mike Moore also trying to get free to get there to the tackle, but a good run by Marshall.
Marshall now 3 carries for 34 early in the game. This time they faked Dan Roosevelt. Dropped the ball, a late hit there. And you would expect the flag to come out against Josh Woodman.
Yeah, that'll be a late hit. Josh Woodman could have avoided this. Ball was dropped. In fact, it looked like Naaman Roosevelt was basically reacting to the drop when he gets hit. It's a player safety issue, and that'll be called every time now.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Edmonton number 7. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And that moves the Roughriders down to the 34. R1 Empire, let's hear you.
Woodman knows it. Said to his
Like
teammates,
Roosevelt
yeah.
didn't make the catch, anticipating a big hit, and then when he wasn't ready for one, Woodman stepped up, and a costly 15 yards against Edmonton. First down, play action fake, and the catch made by Bakari Grant. Quick close on the play.
Well, it's a 7-win Edmonton team against a 3-win Saskatchewan team. But when you take a look at how the Riders have improved and just the statistics, some of the big ones, points for, points against, look at how close they are. There's such a fine line in this league and at this level between winning and losing. 3 wins versus 7, and yet look at the numbers. In fact, they lead in some of those key categories. This team is improving.
3 for Grant, 2nd and 7. Here's Kevin Glenn for Rob Bagg. Drilled after the catch at the 21, but it's a Rough Rider first down.
Good throw by Kevin Glenn. It's a long wide field throw on the curl. There's lots of traffic over there. To have to knife this ball in there.
Second catch for Bagg.